The elevator doors were closing when she shouted, "Hold it, please." A hand, rough, scarred, but gentle, reached out and stopped them just in time. Inside stood Evelyn Hart, billionaire CEO of Hart Technologies, one of the most powerful women in New York. Polished, perfect, and perpetually late. She barely looked up as the man stepped back, holding a small paper bag and a child's backpack slung over his shoulder. Their eyes met for a fraction of a second, and everything froze. He wasn't in a suit. He wasn't anyone she'd normally notice. Just a tired, kind-eyed man in worn clothes, smelling faintly of engine oil and coffee. But in that single moment, something unspoken passed between them. It wasn't attraction. It wasn't curiosity. It was something much deeper, something both of them had long forgotten, recognition of a lonely soul. By the time the elevator reached the ground floor, Evelyn's life, and his, would never be the same. Because sometimes, love doesn't arrive when you're ready for it. It arrives when your heart needs saving most. Evelyn Hart's life was precision. Every minute scheduled. Every movement calculated. She had built her empire from scratch, no family money, no safety net. Just relentless discipline and sleepless ambition. The tabloids called her the Ice Queen of Wall Street. But behind closed doors, Evelyn wasn't cold, she was tired. Tired of fighting to prove she deserved her place in a world that measured worth by numbers and headlines. That morning, she was running late for a high-stakes meeting that could seal a billion-dollar deal. Her assistant trailed behind, juggling files and coffee. "Ma'am, the elevator," he called. Evelyn darted forward, just as a man and a little girl turned the corner. They collided. Hard. The man dropped his coffee, the child's backpack spilled open, crayons, a stuffed bear, and a school lunch tumbling across the marble floor. Evelyn froze, mortified. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." But the man smiled, kneeling to pick up the crayons. "No harm done. My fault too. We were in a rush." He had calm eyes, the kind that carried storms but learned to stay still. The little girl tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy, we're gonna be late." He winked at her. "Then we better catch this elevator, huh?" Evelyn found herself smiling, genuinely smiling, for the first time that week. They stepped in together. For the next 40 seconds, silence filled the elevator, but it wasn't awkward. It was strangely peaceful. Evelyn noticed the small details, grease on his hands, the tired creases near his eyes, the way he carried his daughter like she was his entire world. When they reached the ground floor, she turned and said, "Thank you for holding the elevator." He nodded. "Anytime." The doors closed. And Evelyn realized her heart was beating faster, not from the rush, but from something she hadn't felt in years. That evening, back in her penthouse, she couldn't stop thinking about the man and the little girl. Who were they? Why did he look so familiar, not in face, but in feeling? Meanwhile, Daniel Rivers, the single dad, was tucking his daughter Emma into bed. She giggled, "Daddy, that lady was so fancy. Like a queen." He laughed softly. "She probably is, sweetheart. But queens are just people too." He had no idea the queen he met that morning was one of the most powerful CEOs in the city, or that she'd remember his face long after he'd forgotten the spilled coffee. But fate wasn't done with them yet. The next morning, their worlds collided again, this time, in a way neither could ignore. Daniel arrived at Hart Technologies for a job interview, not as an executive, but as a maintenance supervisor. His old job had cut back hours, and with Emma's school bills rising, he needed stability. He waited nervously in the lobby, holding his resume, creased, slightly stained, but honest. Then he looked up, and his heart stopped. Evelyn Hart. In the flesh. She was walking toward him with her assistant, sharp as ever in a charcoal suit. Their eyes met, and time folded in on itself. "You're the elevator guy," she said, her voice softening. "And you're the lady who almost ran me over," he grinned. Her laugh caught her off guard, light, real, unguarded. When she learned he was there for the maintenance position, something inside her shifted. She personally insisted on interviewing him. During the interview, she listened, really listened, as he talked about raising Emma alone after his wife's passing, about how fixing things gave him peace, and how every screw and wire he tightened made him feel like he was putting the world back together, piece by piece. Evelyn found herself moved, not by pity, but by admiration. He wasn't a man chasing success. He was a man chasing stability, for love. Weeks passed. Evelyn began to see Daniel around the building, in the lobby, fixing panels, sometimes drawing little doodles for his daughter during lunch breaks. She'd join him, bringing coffee. At first, it was casual conversation, then laughter. Then quiet moments that felt like home. They came from different worlds, luxury and labor, marble and steel, yet they connected in ways neither expected. He taught her how to slow down. She taught him how to dream again. But love never comes easy. The board soon found out about her growing closeness with an employee. Rumors spread. The press twisted the story, CEO falls for janitor, splashed across tabloids. She was advised to end it, for the company's image. The night she told Daniel, tears filled her eyes. They think I'm risking everything. He nodded, holding her hands. Then don't. I don't want to be another mistake they use against you. But Evelyn shook her head. You're not a mistake. You're the first thing that's felt right. She chose him, publicly, proudly. She stood before her board, voice firm. If loving a man who's honest, humble, and kind disqualifies me from leading this company, then maybe it's time this company redefines leadership. The room went silent. And for the first time in her career, Evelyn Hart didn't feel powerful. She felt free. Months later, Daniel and Evelyn opened a small community center together, offering free repairs, career training, and scholarships for single parents. Emma called it the Fix It Heart. At the opening ceremony, Daniel took the mic, his voice trembling as he looked at Evelyn. I used to think I was just fixing broken things. But she showed me, sometimes, we're fixing each other. Evelyn smiled through tears. And when they kissed under the soft light of the new sign, everyone knew, this wasn't a fairy tale. It was two broken hearts that found the courage to love again.